Hello and welcome to another episode of the Lina Knits podcast. This is episode 45 and I'm Lina and I'm coming to you as always from my home in Helsinki, Finland. This episode I have one FO, a new pattern, some whips, and some talk about being an entrepreneur or working as a freelancer. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. I'm Lina Finn on Ravelry and Lina Knits pretty much everywhere else, like on Instagram, and my website is linaknits.com, as is my Ravelry pattern store. I design under my full name, Pauliina Karru, but just search for Lina Knits and you should find my store and my patterns. Right, before I get further into the episode, I want to let you guys know that I have a seriously sore throat. So I'll be sipping my tea quite often during the podcast, just so that my voice doesn't give out. And those of you who are curious, and I know there are a lot of tea drinkers out there, I'm drinking Maria's Frere's, say that with a nice French accent, tea called Noël Nouveau, so a Christmas tea. This is a green Christmas tree. It's really, it's both mild and like spicy at the same time, very soft, and I've added a teaspoon of honey. I usually don't sweeten my tea, but I hear honey is good for the throat, so that's what I'm drinking today. I bought that last summer when I was in France, so it's also a nice summer memory tea. And yeah, I'm that person who buys Christmas tea in July. First up, what I'm wearing. This is the Leslie sweater by Hannah Fettig that I knit last February, and it's one of the projects that I frogged a finished sweater that just wasn't, while I still really love the pattern that it used to be and enjoyed knitting it, I wasn't wearing it, so I frogged it and knit this one instead. And the yarn that I used is Hedgehog Fibers Aran in the teacup colorway. Okay, on to the actual content. My whip as my mystery socks from the Finnish sock knitting competition Sukka Finlandia. So these were like the mystery socks, the pre-warm-up socks. Yeah, they look like socks now. And yeah, you can still see that my initial squares were too large for me. They go away, so they're not square shaped anymore. The toe sort of pulls under, and definitely more than halfway down the sole. But the fit is surprisingly good. I haven't blogged this yet, so I don't have any photos of me trying them on. I'll take some for my Instagram after. So all the ends are still hanging and they're a bit wrinkly or not set in their place yet. This bit is where it's a bit tight, but my feet are small, so it's fine, and I got them on the blockers just fine too. Just needed to adjust them a bit, but otherwise, yeah, really happy with them. I'm glad I'm glad I cast on for them when they were a mystery. They were a fun thing to make. And yeah, really like my color choices as well. And so the actual warm-up sock has also been published. The designer of this is Lina Knits, who's known for occasionally doing the unusual with, I think her latest book is about hats, and there are some unusual patterns in that one as well, but also plenty of your more regular type patterns. But yeah, and I believe these are only available and will be only available in Finnish. I don't think her patterns are translated. So a bit unfortunate for those of you living or not speaking Finnish. Doesn't matter where you live. Okay. Then my whips. I seriously haven't, once again, had that much time to knit sort of non-work related things. I feel that like there's an adjustment period going on here, so I'm adjusting to my new schedule and rhythm. Really enjoyed working on is this, my Confetti Sweater by Veera Välimäki, and I've just gone past the point where you separate for the sleeves. So I really enjoyed knitting on this. The stripes make it interesting and addictive, and it just seems to go pretty fast. So this is, the pattern is for a top-down raglan sweater with stripes and stockinette. I believe the pattern has quarter-length sleeves, or three quarter. How do you say that? Not full but not short. 3/4 length sleeves, I guess. And I'll just see how much my yarn gives me. So I'll knit the body first, and then do the sleeves. I don't know how to. I guess I'll just measure my yarn in, because I don't do 2 at a time. I actually knit my sleeves on DPNs. I'm really old-fashioned in that way. So the yarns that I'm using are these, sort of grayish white and a bright blue. And I have 2 skeins of the blue, and it's by Posh Yarn. It's the Esme sock base. So it's the Esme sock base ringed with the Azure World He Stands. It has 440 yards and 400 meters per 100 gram, and it's 100% merino. And my white is Fiddle Knits Polka and the colorway Diamond. This is also 100% superwash merino, about 400 yards per 100 grams. And I'm knitting this with, well, the body, I'm knitting the body in 3.5 millimeter needles, which is actually what the pattern calls for, and I believe I got the exact gauge. This is what it looks like, yeah. So yeah, this has been my project of choice lately. Oh yeah, I forgot to go through the yarns that I use. I just said I like them. My black one, or black, semi-solid dark purple blue yarn is by Lanidium Ex Machina in the basic sock base that I love, 75 merino, 25 nylon, and the colorway is Desperate Cinderella. And my pink one, again, it's a variegated, but it's very subtle. It's by Tail and Tendril. And the Cypress base, 80 merino 20 nylon. Colorway is called Daisy. I use 2.25 millimeter sinks. I normally knit my socks with 2 millimeter needles, but I really don't have any particular reason why I went for 2.25. I guess I just wanted to see what it would look like, and I used less stitches, so I normally have 60 to 64, and this one where is my memory? I had either 56 or 60. Gosh. Yeah, should make notes since my memory seems to be not working lately. Okay. Then another way that just minimal action is the crochet blanket, and really this is all I have. So again, since last episode, excuse me. So again, since last episode, 4 squares have come out and I've done like 1/3 of one. But like I've said before, crochet for me requires a lot of mental space. So I just haven't felt up to it. So this is all I have done. It's still progress, right? It counts. It doesn't mean I'm completely failing, does it? Yeah. So I'm definitely not going to be done by Independence Day, which is the 6th of December, which is, today is the 26th. So that's in like 6 weeks. Yeah, and I have one new whip, which is really also quite pathetic. What is this? And this is actually a gift, or it will be a gift. My grandmother needs thin fingerless mitts that she can wear around the house or inside. Her joints can be really achy, so she needs something warm to have on all the time, to see if that helps. So so I thought I would knit her a pair, and I'm not following any pattern here. I'm just doing 2x2 rib for a little bit up to the hand. Then I haven't decided if I'll just do plain stockinette or something a bit more detailed. But I understand the idea is that she needs something where she can still perform daily tasks, so they can't be too fiddly. So the yarn that I'm using for the mitts is, again, by Tail & Tendril. I seem to be going through a lot of my old stash, so that's why it seems I'm favoring certain brands more than others. I haven't bought any Tail & Tendril I haven't bought any Tail & Tendril yarns in a while, just because they're based in Australia, and the shipping plus taxes makes it not that affordable. But this is a gorgeous skein in the hemlock base, which is 100% merino, 366 meters, and the colorway is called Run. Now I cannot remember if that was a reference to something or not. Probably was, as I have a weakness for fandom yarns, I think. So that's what I've been knitting, other than my own patterns. And I just wanted to mention here, or bring it up here, since I've noticed that there are some designers out there who don't knit other designers' patterns or don't mention knitting them, and I'm not one of them, and I don't see myself becoming one of them. because I find it an entirely different experience knitting from either my own ideas, or if I've already written the pattern out, writing from my own pattern, knitting from my own pattern, because I need to be present on that all the time. I need to be aware of what I'm doing, what I'm going to write, or what I have written. They're making notes all the time. Whereas when I knit from other designers' patterns, it's just it's just for me. It doesn't have to make sense. If I make mistakes, I can just let them be there and carry on. I do enjoy designing and knitting my own patterns. I'm not saying that. It's a different experience. And also, I find that I learn so much from other patterns. There are numerous ways of writing up a sock pattern, for example, and there's no saying that one is better than the other. There's just different ways, and different knitters prefer different things. And I just find it really interesting, and I just feel like I learn a lot, and it's good to be aware of these different ways of doing the same thing. And that benefits me as a designer and also as a tech editor immensely. So I don't see myself not knitting other designers' patterns and not talking about them. And there are just so many great patterns out there that I love, and I want to have them on my needles and on my wardrobe. So I'm just going to keep enjoying them and also keep designing. And especially now as a designer myself, I really like it when I can support other independent designers by purchasing their patterns. So that's a bonus as well. And that sort of segues me into my latest pattern. It's available on loveknitting.com at the moment. I'll link everything. I'll put the link below and on the show notes. And I forgot to mention that the show notes are available in the Lina Knits Ravelry group and on my website, where I have a page for the podcast. It's linaknits.com/podcast, and you can find it there. So I was inspired a while ago to design a Christmas ornament, and I totally did not realize until now that it sort of blends well in with my Christmas tea. I could have had a pre-Christmas episode. Yeah, I guess I've had Christmas on the brain for a while, and I really like the traditional, usually red and white paper ornaments, the woven paper ornaments that you see at Christmas, especially here in Finland and the rest of Scandinavia. It's very traditional. So I wanted to knit a version of that, and I went with interlock. So there are 3 sizes. No, before I go to the sizes, I shared my idea with the people at Love Knitting, and they liked it and sent me a bunch of their paint box Simply DK yarn, which is 100% acrylic yarn, DK wood yarn. So I played around with those skeins and came up with 3 sizes for the ornaments. So this is the smallest one, which is good to hang on the tree. Then there's medium size. That's also knit up in the 2 pink colors. And this would be good for if you have like a wreath that you want to put a center ornament in, or to hang on a doorknob if you attach a cord here. This is just a crochet, a simple crochet chain. So you could do the same here. And then the largest one would be good for a pillow. So all the hearts have the same amount of these wait, which way does it go? This way. These base triangles that you start with. So that's 3. You just have different number of stitches in them, and you knit different amount of rows. The pattern has instructions for all 3 sizes. And of course you could knit these in different yarn weights and get even more sizes. So yeah, they are a bit fiddly since you do need to do interlac, which is easier than what it looks like when you start reading a pattern for interlac. Once you get the hang of it, it's really quite easy. Just a bit fiddly since you have, well, it's a bit fiddly, I won't lie. And also you need to make 2 and then sew them together. But I just sewed these with a whip stitch, so it's super easy. You just lay them wrong sides together, whip stitch around, leave a small opening, put the stuffing and close it. I did use 2 different colors so that it doesn't show. So the darker red is here and on the bottom here, and the lighter pink is here and on this side. So there. That's what I've, one of the secret knitting projects that have been taking up my time that I referred to earlier and in the last episode as well. I'm really happy that I can finally share those with you. So start getting ready for Christmas, right? I don't have any yarn stash acquisitions, but I do have, again, something for my knitting library. I have issue 3 of Lina magazine, and I know you've probably seen this already on every other podcast since I was slow on getting to the stores and getting a copy, but I really do love this. And just before I go on any further, there, my name's on there. Just wanted to bring that up to show you that I might be a bit biased, but you guys know that I've loved Lina since the first issue came out, so any praise that I have for it is not based on having worked with this issue, but my actual true feelings about it. This is again super gorgeous issue with the layout and the photos and everything. One of my favorite patterns is this hay sweater. I don't have anything in my stash to knit that with, so I think that'll have to wait for a bit, but this one I need to see. If you remember, I had, why would you remember? I had a really, this is the tail-like cardigan. Okay, finish one sentence. So I have white cable cardigan, worsted weight, really sort of oversized cable cardigan that I absolutely love, and I've worn and loved it so much that it's really starting to fray at the whatever it is, at the cuffs, and just not looking as neat as I would like. And by that I mean it's quite embarrassing to wear it. So I would really like to replace that with something, and this is one potential pattern for that. I just need to see if what I have in my stash is enough, because I have, well, I don't have it yet. I'm about to frog yet another finished object, and hoping that that will be enough to knit a new cardigan for me. If you want to hear me talk more about frocking finished objects, I'll have a look at the previous episode if you haven't done so. I spent a bit of time talking about it there. and the episode before that as well. Again, I want to thank everyone who's left comments and questions and thumbs ups on my videos. One of the questions that I received was a request for me to talk about how my life has changed since starting my business. And I realized that I haven't really talked about that much, even though it's a huge thing in my life. Because I didn't know if you guys were interested, or I didn't really know what to say about it. So now that I had this question and the format of the question of how has my life changed, I started thinking about it from that aspect and decided that yes, I could spend a bit of time talking about it. So last winter I quit my job and started my own business and now work as a freelancer. What I did before is what I still partly do as a freelancer, so I am a publishing editor. So that's part of what I do now. I also work as a tech editor for knitwear designers, and I also work as a marketing assistant to one designer, and I've also done some virtual assistant work for designers and translations. I think that's everything. Yeah, and designing my own patterns. So there's quite a lot, but I like it. I like that there are several projects that I work on and different aspects of the knitting community that I get to see and interact with. My publishing editor work is not knitwear related at all, so I'm not gonna go into it more here. So yeah, one of the ways that my life has changed is that I now have the opportunity to work with amazing people and on interesting projects like this. Being a freelancer means that there is a lot of financial uncertainty and worry. Like starting out as a freelancer, like I did, I had my contacts from my previous job, but other than that I was starting from square one. So I had to make, and still am working quite a lot on making connections and finding clients and work. So that means that my income is not regular, for one thing, and pretty much not knowing where the next paycheck is coming from and when. That combined with my general disposition for, or my predisposition for anxiety, means that it's occasionally really difficult. Also, since I have several clients and I can't know their schedules beforehand, it sometimes mean that there are days when I have to work 12 hours or on the weekends, and then there are days when I'm worried that I will never get work again. So a lot of worry and unpredictability. Also, there's a lot of work that just doesn't get paid, that I don't get paid for. Like, it's not for any specific client, it's for myself. It's working on my website, finding clients to contacting them, writing the emails, bookkeeping, all that thing, and then plus all the design work that I do, coming up with the ideas, knitting the samples, writing the patterns, doing test knits, promoting the patterns. All that work is work that I do and takes a lot of time out of my days, but there's no sort of direct income. Well, once the patterns are released, then the sales of course are direct income, but it's also very unpredictable. Right now, I really can't say that I'm that I'm getting any income from my patterns, but I am hoping that they will be a decent slice of my income in the future, like alongside my tech editing and other editorial work that I do and all the other projects that I work on. Having my own business means that I'm constantly putting myself out there. So I'm contacting people and working for new people. And it can be scary. I'm not going to lie. It can be scary. All that said, I just love it. I don't think I've ever enjoyed work as much as I do now. All of it. Even like the bookkeeping part. Because it's for myself. And I feel so lucky to be able to do this. Yeah, if you ever talk to pretty much every entrepreneur that I've talked to says the same thing, that starting out is really difficult. The first few years are really difficult and stressful, but so wonderful and so worth it. And having done this now for 6 months, I think that you were right, absolutely right. So I'm working on trying to have a schedule to my days, like have lunch at the same time each day, take breaks where I stretch or go outside for a quick walk, or just things that will benefit my well-being. Yeah, so I feel like my life is a work in progress right now. Well, most people's are all the time anyway, but just so many new things that I've had to learn, and I still need to learn and adapt and get used to. And yeah, trying to find the most effective way for me to work, because while, like I said, I do enjoy all the projects that I'm working on and all the additional work that comes with having your own business, I do still need time off, and I need to realize that and respect that. And yeah, trying to be flexible but have a schedule, or not a schedule but a routine or a time frame. So yeah, I'm a work in progress. My business is a work in progress. I'm finding it both scary and loving it. I guess that's about everything I wanted to say on that topic right now. I might check in with you on that as I progress and evolve. But thanks for the question, and if you have any other questions for me, just contact me. The messages below is a good way. The Ravelry group is another one. I'll try and answer any questions that you have if there's something that I feel like talking about online. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you soon again, and let's keep in touch. Happy knitting!